guys, today we're spicing it up with Ali from Open Sesame. He is an entrepreneur. He is a self-made business owner here in Long Beach for 20 years, and he also has an LA location. Ali's restaurant has won many awards and has been featured in many articles. Recently, once again, he has been voted Best Mediterranean Restaurant in the Belmont Shore, Naples area by the Best of Long Beach in 2019. Thank you for being on the show today. We've known each other for 13 years now. When we first moved to Long Beach in 2007, we met you through Teresa. I remember Teresa,
yes,
LeBron?
Teresa, yes.
So she introduced us to Woody and introduced us to Billy, Romeo, to you.
Yeah.
And we started coming to Open Sesame, and I didn't know anything about Lebanese food or anything like that, but what I do remember is you guys embracing us into your culture and showing us, you know, your culture and your food, which is amazing. So I just want to thank you for just taking us in when we first moved here in 2007, and just being our friends and taking us in and showing us your culture. So I want to ask you, like, what was your passion when, like, you were a young boy? I read that you were, working for a spice factory in Lebanon, but what was it? Like, was it your family? Was it your mom? Was it your dad? Was, like, relatives that got you into this? Because, like, for us, like, the Hispanic culture, we're all about food. We're all about spices. And, like, I have aunts that make a chili a certain way, and my mom makes it a certain way, and the other aunt makes it a certain way, but it's all, like, our culture is around our food, and you guys are the exact same way. Your culture is the same way. So can you tell us a little bit about what got you started, and what was that thing that just just intrigued you, and you loved going into?
I can't put my finger on one thing in particular as to what got me started. I can tell you it's a combination of many things. The first time I saw 2nd Street in '89.
Oh, wow.
I was walking down 2nd Street, and I loved the street and the feel, and it kind of reminded me of home, where I was, where I grew up in Beirut. Same feel, little mom and pop shops, close to the ocean, same weather. And the idea of opening a Lebanese restaurant really started in 1989.
Wow.
I was probably 21 years old, 21, 22, something like that. And then I think that first year I moved to Belmont Shore. I lived a little inlands, and I moved to Belmont Shores. That was just a year or 2 years into this, being in this country, just fresh off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So the combination, to answer your question exactly, combination of the Belmont Shore, Long Beach, the feel, the knowledge that I can do it and I can cook, having lived the taste profile, the culture of the Lebanese food, from my aunts, my moms, my grandma, my other grandma, my great grandma, and my sisters and my in-laws. Everything evolves around food.
Right.
I remember my mom would finish putting the dishes away for breakfast around 9 o'clock. 9:30, she's already prepping for lunch, and that's not going to be ready until like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the conversation is all about what we're going to do for lunch, and then when they're done with lunch is what we're going to do for dinner.
Right.
So women in that culture love to cook and like to provide just healthy, wholesome, homemade food, full of love to just, to get the husband to stay around.
Right.
So that was a joke, by the way. So a combination of many things. And one thing that really resonated with me, that fast forward in 1999, which is almost 10 years after the initial encounter with Belmont Shores, and the feeling that, the feel that I can really do a Lebanese restaurant here, I managed to negotiate a deal with the previous owner of this particular location.
Which is your original location.
Which is this one right
here.
Yeah, that's the original, the first location. I struck a deal with the Chinese guy that owned this establishment at the time. And we were negotiating in his kitchen, which is in the back, him doing the the walk thing, and his wife in the front. There was 2 people operation at the time, and we came to agreement just standing up in the kitchen, him tossing his chow mein.
wok and yeah.
The knowledge that I've always knew, having tried Lebanese food for 10 years in this country, I always knew I can do it better. Not because
Better in the States, or just what you had to bring from Lebanon, like.
Good question. I just felt I can do the right combination of Lebanese restaurant. I have seen lots of mom and pop that do amazing food, never been able to pull the right
Recipes.
Atmosphere, right consistency. Consistency has been an issue. You come have one thing one day, the other thing, it's same thing, it tastes different. And also the environment and the ambiance, they never really simulated the experience to be also an American Lebanese experience, meaning to provide the food, to provide the warmth, but also to have that service that we pride ourselves on in this country. So I thought I can combine everything, the aesthetics, the cuisine, the consistency, the ambiance, the feel, and I think 21 years later, I would like to think I have been able to establish or accomplish that, if you may. So it's a combination of many things.
Nice, and which you have accomplished that, because I've been coming here since 2007.
Twice a week.
Yes, exactly, right. And our kids love it. They're gonna take out the whole thing. And there's always a line outside. You also expanded to, the second
corner,
to the corner location, but you've also expanded to what was the chocolate factory before, so you've expanded the restaurant. So it's always it's always busy. So everybody knows Open Sesame.
And before your days, we have expanded next door here. There was an Egyptian artifact place. No, before the optometrist.
Oh, okay.
So I took this 4 years later, I expanded next door here.
Okay.
And then...
oh, yeah, right, right next door, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
6, 7 years later, I think you came about the same time I took the corner location.
Okay,
because I could not take the next door location.
Right, I remember that.
The guy was successful, he didn't want to leave. I tried to bribe him, he wouldn't leave. Yeah. So,
but you also had the other shop, the clothing company and the shoe store.
Oh, Sway, yes.
Sway, you had Sway
I had that
also
for
there
almost 7 years, 8 years, some shoe, the clothing and stuff. That was my middle life crisis.
That was just your hobby.
That was my hobby. I enjoyed it, it was fun, but this is where my heart is. That was fun, but this is home. This is home. Now all my 3 kids work for me. My daughter, my son, my other son. My oldest is my chef, my dessert chef.
I read
he
that.
does all the pastries, yes.
I saw that.
And my young daughter, she seemed to be, hopefully don't film this, because if she sees it, she's gonna be pissed off. She's gonna be the next boss. So she's got the personality, the common sense, and the drive and the strength to take over, hopefully, so I can retire.
Yeah, and we see her, she's a hard worker. We see her just juggling things around. We see her freaking cleaning windows. That's amazing.
She's amazing, yeah.
She's amazing. She's just amazing. So hopefully, she does take over. She has a bigger vision, because you had a huge vision and created all this. And if she can take over and create something even bigger, for your legacy, is even more amazing.
Have you met my oldest son, Yusuf?
I have not. No, I've met your daughter.
You should see him one day. You should come and see him one day when he's making the dessert in the back.
Awesome.
His desserts are the best.
Awesome.
Really good, consistent,
the baklavas,
amazing. Everything, all the desserts, the Lebanese cheesecake, the cardamom cake.
I haven't tried the Lebanese cheesecake.
You should after we have the full dining experience. You will. Oh, you haven't Lebanese cheesecake?
I've only had the baklavas here. Yeah.
Whoa, you're missing out.
I know.
No. Well, I'm gonna tell him to make it, and then we'll deliver it to you, George.
Question for you. So, at what point, did you say okay, I'm 21 years old. You've been here for, I don't know, 10 years, you said, after 1999. At what point were you I want to open a restaurant? What made, you're on 2nd Street, right? But back in the day, Long Beach wasn't what it is today. I mean, it was a little bit ghetto back in the day. You know what I mean? It was not Long Beach was considered
Long Beach is a big city.
Right, it's a huge city, right?
Yeah.
But even then, I remember coming to 2nd Street, and it wasn't what it is. Nothing of what it is today.
I think it had a beautiful feel back then. It was a different, more Belmont Shore, Second Street. When I used to hang out in Long Beach, in Second Street at the time, it was so eclectic. It was very touristy. Lots of Europeans, a lot of little mom and pop coffee shops and restaurants. There wasn't any big names here. At the time, Belmont Shore, especially Second Street, was very unique. Now it's definitely busier. People know about it more. There are more, brand names, etc. But
not that much compared to a lot of other like different places. Like,
True.
let's just say like Pasadena, it's more like trendier. I think Belmont Shore still kind of keeps is like
family,
family oriented. But you're right, not
Neighborhood.
like what it used to be. Exactly. Like even 10 years ago, it's just more a little bit more mainstream, which they're trying to keep it more, like the promenade's open, but they're trying to keep Second Street just what it was originally when you first came.
Now you mean?
No.
Back then.
Well, I think they're trying to hold on to that feel. You know what I mean? Which is a little bit hard, but it's still there. Like this is like the last of it, I think, in Long Beach. Because it's expanded. It's grown so much in the past years.
True.
You know what I mean? Like you said, it's a huge city. Downtown LA is a completely different feel. Belmont Shore, the promenade's different. So just all these different locations that it continues to expand. But I think here is just trying to keep its feel to what just a mom and pop shop still. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a very unique city. Long Beach is very unique, very diverse. It's home for me. It's really home. Doesn't matter what I travel all over the world. Even when I go to Lebanon, visit my family, which they all really still live there. When I come back here, this is home. This is home for me.
Yeah.
Long Beach has been very good for me. It changed my life in so many ways, and my kids are born and raised here, went to school here, from high school all the way to now.
So when you came from Lebanon, how old were you when you came?
I was 20 years old.
Okay, so you're 20 years old, and when you came here and like you mentioned like the restaurant, you kind of cut a deal with the Asian guy and the whole thing. And what challenges, like, did you think of any challenges that you might have or challenges that you did have that you kind of like, persevered from there and just kind of kept going? Like, I'm sure you had a ton of challenges that came about to like create where you are today and stay strong where you are today. Like, what were your challenges? What were your adversities that you went through?
Everything I've done was a challenge. I was 30 years old, 31. I've never owned a restaurant before, never worked inside a restaurant, a commercial kitchen before, never worked inside a restaurant before. The closest thing I've ever been to a restaurant is working at a valet, parking cars in a Long Beach local restaurant here in Long Beach when I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
So everything was a challenge for me. Everything, but I've dealt with it, and I never really dwelled on anything. Never thought too much ahead. If I have a problem in front of me, I deal with it. If it's not, I will not deal with it until it's in front of me. So everything was a challenge. The biggest challenge for me was consistency. To create consistency, to make sure your hummus stays today exactly like it did 10 years ago. This was the biggest challenge, and I managed to perfect that, overcome this challenge within months of me being in the kitchen every day. The first year and a half, my ass was glued to the kitchen.
I was going to ask you, were you cooking? Yeah,
I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing the accounting on this same table by the end of the day. But after 14, 15 hour shift, I was shopping for the groceries. I was balancing handmade spreadsheet. I was doing everything. I was on the line. I was on the dishes, serving, take out orders, everything. I've done everything. The first year and a half, I was everywhere.
And I think that's what keeps you humble. That like as a business owner, you've done everything. You've been part of being the waiter, being the busboy, like checking out this and that, where a lot of people will not stay humble. Like, I won't do this, I won't do that. And you did everything that you had to do to push your restaurant through, to make its name for it, to make your name for it. And that's what keeps you humble, because I've known you for a long time, and I just think like you're one of the like most humble people that I know. And you know, when I've seen your daughter here too, like you've taught your kids the same thing, and that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like you can't buy that, you can't teach that. Like you can teach it, yes, by doing the work yourself. You know what I
They
mean?
learn
And
to
like,
be humble more than
exactly.
from my ex-wife than I am. My ex-wife is an amazing woman. She really instilled a lot of that in them as well. You know, they saw me doing it, but my ex-wife was.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
That's really important. Yeah. Was there a time where you thought like, you know, you know, we're going through a downside of, you know, economics or anything like that, where you thought like your restaurant would be in danger of like closing down or anything like that? And like, if so, if any ever, like, what did you do to overcome that? Like,
Well, those things, I think every human on this planet go through those thoughts. Am I gonna succeed? Am I gonna fail? Is my wife gonna leave me? If my wealth is gonna stay? Is my health is gonna remain? I think it's all those questions can be answered in one way. It's just you can't control what isn't in front of you. So I've always, yes, I have in my younger years, and I had to learn the hard way that not to worry about what's in front of me. You know, if this person opened, would he take my business? If this guy leave me, would he give my recipe away? And this is a young, inexperienced an individual would do. And we all do it. I think we're all guilty of it. But with time,
feeling intimidated by this, especially being on Second Street, where they pop up, you know, close down, open up. There's a new place all the time, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Those thoughts are always entered my mind, but I've never entertained them for too long. So I have never dwelled on them, went to sleep with them. They come to my mind, I process them maybe for a minute or two, maybe hour or two, but I never go to sleep with them. I've always saw this place being here for another 80, 100 years. So not because I know what I'm doing and I'm good, because that's what I want. Now, if that doesn't happen, so be it. But that's what I want, and I dwell with that in my heart and my mind, and everything I do is directed towards this feel. Whether with the restaurant or anything else I do in my life. This is lately, I've been doing it for a while now, and it's working in every area in my life. So I don't worry anymore.
Yeah.
Even with the COVID-19 now, which we are in the middle of it,
Right.
It's a very challenging time for everybody, especially for business owners, especially for us, small business like me. It's a huge challenge. I don't dwell on it. I really don't care. And my business has been reduced by 50%. You know, we're doing only takeout and delivery and catering. That's huge. I have 100 employees in this location.
Oh, wow.
In this location alone, I had to put on hold 85 employees. That's huge. You know, 85 employees, in which the mass majority of them are family. You know, my average employee has been around for 10 years. I have employees that have been here since the beginning. Leticia, you know Leticia?
Yes.
She's been here for 20 years, ever since I started. We have Picasso, we have Tio, we have Jackie, our operation director. Average of 15, 16, 17 years between all of them. This is a healthy, duration for a business such as mine.
Right.
Restaurant business have high turnover, and people come and leave. We're very fortunate.
You've held on
We
to
held
good
on,
people,
and it's very hard to have this family. Hey, I'm gonna put you on hold. Things are not good. I can't pay you. But with all this and other challenges, we can sit down and talk about it for hours. But I'm just gonna make it short. I just take it one day at a time. You know, one day at a time, because I feel really this is what's the life. It's what in front of you or what matters. People that live in the tomorrow or yesterday or next week or...
You can't. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, they never really live life, and they never have the energy or the ability to deal with what's in front of them. So today, this is what I have. I have 50% business, I have less employees, I have less income. I deal with it, and then tomorrow will be another day. And if this is going to be like this forever, I'll deal with it. And if it's going to be better...
And you figure it out as you go.
Exactly.
Right.
So
And I can relate to that with 2008. Let's kind of go a little bit back. 2008, we're in, mortgage and real estate. And the difference between 2008 and 2020.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
It's 2020.
Yeah, 2020 it's just a total different feel, because in 2008 everything shut down for us, completely shut down. Businesses were still open, but our market was completely shut down.
Real estate.
In real estate, it was completely shut down. Like we had a conversation on the phone the other day, and we were like, "How are you doing?" If you would have asked me this in 2008, like I couldn't even get a word out of my mouth, because I have no idea like where we're going next. But it was what I thought in my mind, and I thought, oh my God, we're like crumbling. What's happening? And it did. It all came down to a crumble, but it was a humbling crumble of, what? Like, this is where I crumbled to the floor and dug myself out to where here we are in 2020. Again, another recession that we're living through, but it's totally different. It's the humbleness of 2008. Take my cars, take my house, take my this, take it all. It's okay. You can't take who I am. You can't take where I came from. You can't take where, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you came kind of, similar. Like we came.
It's funny.
I didn't come from like a wealthy family or anything like that. I came from nothing, got stripped of everything that we built, and here we are again. 2020. Yes, we are in a recession. Are we prepared? I can't say we're prepared 100%, but I'm damn well more prepared than 2008. And I see that, your restaurants, you have a big sign outside where takeout and delivery. And I asked you earlier, how are you doing with this? And you're doing great. And I'm so happy for you that you're doing amazing. And you're one of the few restaurants on 2nd Street that's, has a takeout, has a delivery, because a lot of them, I feel that sadly, and it breaks my heart, because this is our home, this is our town. We love Long Beach. It's Strong Beach to me. It's we'll get through it. The other day I was running. I've been exercising a lot. Our regimen is to get up, get dressed. I'm going to work. My office is right outside our bedroom, and we keep going. And the other day I was running down 2nd Street, and I got really teary-eyed, and I was like, we're gonna come back, and we're gonna come back stronger, because we have to, because this is I love Long Beach. I love Belmont Shore. This is what we're about, and it's sad to see, but I'm happy that you're still up and running, and you're doing amazing no matter what what the circumstances are, because it's just a little setback for our comebacks, and our comebacks gotta be stronger no matter what, always, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned 2008, because 2008 was the most profitable year for me, and ever since I opened. 2007, 8, and 9. I felt the recession 2010.
Oh, wow.
A little bit, yeah. But that was it. Things were, start to level up. I've always had an incline ever since I opened. In 2010, I had a flat line for a while before it went up again. But 2008 was, I don't know what you're talking about.
Ah, okay.
So I was just selling a lot of falafel at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, it did not affect me, of course, your real estate. But
Yeah.
this, for me, the opposite. You didn't feel it as much now.
Yeah.
I felt it big, because it was a direct impact to the business.
Well, there was the shutdown. Complete
shutdown, yes,
Yeah, there was a
exactly.
complete shutdown, yeah. Well, here you are today, still hanging on. We're still doing good.
Cheers.
And cheers to that. Now, let's talk about your menu. For me, like I said before, the potatoes, and my kids, they love, they want to order an individual to go for themselves. You have the Ali plate, right?
Ali's favorite.
Ali's
That was
favorite,
Ali's
yeah.
favorite 15 years ago. I've changed my favorite now. Lamb chops is my favorite now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which I haven't had yet.
You're one of those people that I always lecture my employees about. I said that we have die-hard customer that does not look at the menu. You need to offer them things that other than what they normally have,
And I
because
always have the same stuff, and I see like you
even
upgraded,
for
upgraded,
free,
upgraded.
just let them try other things, because of amazing things across the menu. I mean, I'm flattered that you're comfortable with one thing and you always order. Try other things.
Yeah, I know. We have to.
Yes,
We have to, for sure. Yeah. Ali, thank you for
Christina.
being an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you so
and a
much.
welcoming friend. And teaching us greatness with your culture and your delicious food.
Thank you.
We were so lucky to have you on 2nd Street. And we look forward to coming to Open Sesame like any regular day.
Open Sesame is going to be here for the next 100 years, I promise you.
Yes, and we'll continue to be here because we're going to live to our 120 years old.
I'm going to die at 150. I'll be fine.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you, Ali.
Yeah, thank
Cheers.
you. Thanks.
Salud.
Cheers. Salud.